Great time with that food though. Y'all better know what it is, man. Grub rock stars in the building.
Amazing.
So we got our next guest.
Yes.
So
I'm excited about this young lady. Like
what you excited about?
Because I love young black girls and women and men, young, black, and powerful, and just like they just be knowing what they want and they go for it. And this young lady has been that, right? And so I have been really trying to get her on the show, and I'm so glad that she's finally been able to join us. We've got Leslie Redmond in the building.
Let's give it up. Yep.
Yes.
So much for having me.
Oh my God!
Thank you for being a part of Spotlight over the City.
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How you doing?
I am blessed. You know, it's a lot of craziness going on in the world, but this too shall pass. So I'm blessed.
This too shall pass. Now, you know, for those of you all who don't know, Leslie is a racial justice discussion. Well, she's like a racial injustice advocate. You are former president of NCAA, the chapter up there in Minnesota. Is that right?
Yes, I was the president for the Minneapolis NAACP.
Yep. And you have got something new going on that I don't want to spoil it. I want you to tell about it because it is a movement, girl. And I want you to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll take it back a little bit, and I'll ask you some of the questions that came in from some of our followers.
Thank you so much. So I am the founder and CEO of Don't Complain, Activate. And the idea is that you don't have to be President Barack Obama or Beyonce in order to activate your community, right? It's everyday people that are changing the world, whether you're a mom or a dad, an artist, entrepreneur, entertainer, activist, and attorney such as myself. There are so many ways to activate the community. So we have a clothing line, which you see me wearing my hat, Don't Complain, Activate. We have shirts, we have hoodies, we have masks. And yeah, I'm just really excited.
Don't Complain, Activate.
I love it.
Tell us a little bit about, like, okay, how did it come about? Like, what made you say this is what it's going to be called? Don't Complain, Activate. Like, take me through that process.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm from D.C., born and raised. I'm super happy to be here with y'all today.
That's what's up.
The Big Mom, one of her favorite songs was I Won't Complain, right? And I wasn't really intentionally thinking about that, but I think that definitely played a huge role. I came up with Don't Complain, Activate in 2016, going into 2017, around the time of President Trump's inauguration, and really seeing a lot of the sadness on social media and how people were really feeling defeated. And for me, I saw so many everyday people who were doing the work. And I believe that's where it mattered the most. And so Dr. Betty Shabazz, the wife of Malcolm X, she once said, find the good and praise it. And so that's what it was all about, finding the good and praise it. And Don't Complain, Activate. It's about highlighting the activators in the community and recognizing, you know, a lot of people see me on TV and at the protests and speaking, but it's not just me. It's everyday people who are making the change, and I never want anybody to forget that.
Yes, I love it.
But what I want to say is everyday people, that's true, but a lot of people are everyday and they just not doing the things that you guys are doing and the things that you're involved in. And so for you to be young and powerful and making, your voice is so necessary for today to keep those young people activated and old people as well, like myself, activated and doing something, because everybody can play a part. So I just thank you for doing your part.
Thank you so much. And that really is it, right? Like, we are all better together. And there are so many people who, like you say, that haven't been activated, but there are so many people who are activated and just don't know that they're activated. You know what I mean? We are all a part of uplifting our communities. You think about the inner city of DC and how Black people have been sustained in the city for so long, and we all have played a part in that, whether it's the go-go music, whether it's the culture, the style, the swag, the running for office, the working for government, being trash men, working at the laundromat. We all play a role in keeping this society rolling, and they like to put certain people in the front, but, you know, there's no big eyes, little U's, as my dad would say.
Yeah.
I like that. Your dad's sharp.
Yes.
So, yeah, and speaking of that, you can tell that you come from good stock because of just based on your energy and what you have going on. There's a lot of young people out here, and I thank you, though, because like you said, a lot of people are doing stuff, and a lot of people don't know they can. So for those people who think they're powerless, what would you say to those people who are young and they have energy to do things, but they don't feel the power to do it?
Thank you so much. And I should shout out my dad, shout out to Lester Redmond. I should shout out my mom, shout out to Vanessa Corley. There might be some listeners that know. So yes, I'm very thankful for my parents and the foundation that they laid. I would tell young people, it was once upon a time where I was just a young inner city DC girl, and people did not think I was going to make it this far. You got to believe in yourself long before people start believing in you.
Yes,
I remember when I
indeed.
used to tell people that I wanted to be a judge, and I decided I was going to be a judge in 4th grade because one of my favorite cousins, Kevin, was always being incarcerated, going in and out of jail. And I was asking my grandmother one day, I said, Big Mom, who decided Kevin go to jail or not? And she said, the judge. And that's when I decided, well, I'm going to be the judge because something is wrong with this system. At the time, I didn't know about all the systemic issues, but as a child, I knew like something is wrong that these people keep locking up my cousin. So I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see, even though I didn't see a lot of people around me being that change and being in those positions. And so, again, people used to think I was crazy. And now people write on my Instagram and be like, dang, Leslie, you did everything you said you was going to do. Like, I've been saying this since forever. And, people were sleeping on me, but they're awake now.
They woke now.
now.
We all woke now. That's crazy that you was 4 years old talking about you gonna be a judge, right?
Yeah, that was one of the questions that came in from one of our viewers was ask her how and when did she know she wanted to become a lawyer? And so that what you just explained kind of answered that question.
But it's funny too. I never envisioned myself working with the NAACP or being a president of the NAACP. I always had, I read about them in the books and I knew about them historically and the role that they played. But that's more of like the elite Black people of the world that's usually the NAACP. And I come from more humble beginnings. And, I feel like I would tell people the NAACP was people that my family fought for. Like all of my grandparents migrated from North Carolina, South Carolina, Houston, Texas to DC for better opportunities. And so one of the things for me is really trying to make sure the NAACP is more accessible to all people. Like even in DC, a lot of people are not involved in the NAACP and they see me, they be like, well, maybe I should get involved now. I'm like, yes, because we got to be the change we want to see. And all of these organizations belong to us and our vehicles for us to liberate our people. We need to use every tool that we have in our toolkit.
Wow.
Okay, so with that being said, if you can have it your way, you're a genie, you can blink your wish right today. What would it look like as far as your goal? What would your overall picture? What would you want to see happen if you had it your way, your movement?
That's an easy one. Let me tell you, because Lauryn Hill and Nas already said it. And if I rule the world, like my biggest thing is opening up all the prison gates and liberating my people. And like, we need to go to Africa. And I'm not saying that we can't still have access to America and that America doesn't owe us reparations and that we don't have a place here. But I really don't think that they should be incarcerating any Black brothers and sisters. And there's too many of us that are still incarcerated. So that's a lot of the work that I do. I don't know if you all were aware, but there was a brother by the name of Mayan Burrell, and Amy Klobuchar kept mentioning her during her presidential campaign, saying like, oh, there was a young girl named Taisha Edwards who was 10 years old. Actually, I was 10 years old at the same time Taisha Edwards were, and she was, struck by a stray bullet, unfortunately, and was murdered as she was sitting at the living room table doing her homework. So it was a very sad story, right? But they used that to convict a 16-year-old of a life sentence for a crime that he didn't commit. Back then they just wanted a warm Black body. They didn't really care if you did the crime or not.
Yep.
Very similar to the war on drugs in our community and how they gave people life sentences for nonviolent crimes. And so we actually did a lot of advocacy, a lot of strategy, a lot of work. And Mayan Burrell came home in 2020. And so that was a big win. And now working on another innocence case of a brother who is incarcerated for a crime that he did not commit. There was never any physical evidence connecting to the murders. There was just jailhouse snitches and corrupt police officers. And so when you say what my vision is, it's really liberating our people, going back on the plantation, getting our people off, dismantling white supremacy, getting rid of poverty. People shouldn't be not having shelter, not having food in the nation capital and in the richest, quote unquote, country in the world. And so those are the type of things that I'm really big on, like beyond the racial justice. It's what Malcolm X said. This is human rights that we're really fighting for. I'm a humanitarian. I want to see humans having the things that they need to live a meaningful life and live out their God-given talents.
I love it.
Okay, so that's it. I love
love
you.
it.
You are
Well,
amazing.
I love you.
Hands down, you're the best. So like, okay, that's it. You're the mayor and the governor and the president. That's
Listen to that.
That's it. Damn it. Everything you want, everything. And so the reason I say this is because I can feel the passion and the sincerity that you have for the people.
Yes.
And those are the people who do good.
Yeah.
And so anything that we can do at Spotlight Over the City, because we're not just a talk show, we're a platform, and we're not just a platform, we're in the communities, and we're reaching out abroad. So anything we can do to help this movement, please tie us into it and tell us what we do, and we'll do that.
Yeah.
Because I love what you're doing, and you're so necessary.
Yes, I agree. I stamp everything.
Speaking of that, I was very excited when y'all reached out to me because I haven't, most of my work for the last decade has been outside of the city, which I love DC, and I'm always coming back home, and all of my family's still in DC. But I plan on coming back and doing a lot of work in DC. So I don't know, how did y'all find me? But I'm really excited that y'all did.
Well, we do our homework here at Spotlight Over the City.
That's
so
right. I was like, I gotta get her on the show. Yes.
Yeah, so if you lit, you on. We trying to look for you and we trying to get you on. So you lit and you on.
Yeah.
And so we love you being on. We thank you. And where can they follow you? Because our producers is waving hands and stomping feet. So if you could just let us know where we can follow you and let all the people know how they can get involved, then we'll shut up and let you talk.
100%. So follow me on all social media platforms. I'm probably most active on Instagram. It's Leslie E. Redmond, LeslieEredmond. Also, my website is leslieredmond.com. Very simple. You can also have access to my clothing line on Don't Complain Activate. Go support Black-owned businesses, Black women businesses.
Yes. Shop
Don't Complain Activate. Get you some gear for the entire family. And from there, you'll see a lot of the advocacy work that I can do. And like I said, let me just say his name. Philip Vance is the next brother that I'm working to help bring home from serving a life sentence. He's been in for 17 years, going on 18 years in April for a crime that he did not commit. And so prayerfully, the next time I come in here and talk to y'all, I'll be telling y'all Philip Vance is out too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I already know we're going to touch and agree and say, yes, that young man is straight on the way home right now. And I'll also say, let's do a segment called Behind the Wall, and I'll invite you back and be a part of that segment because I got a lot of brothers that's still doing time right now.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I want to do a segment called Behind the Wall. But thank you for all of the love and all of the information that you've shared, and we'll love to have you back on.
Yes, y'all give it up one more time for Leslie Redmond. Woo! Yes, I love her.
Yeah, next up, we got who?
We have got R&B star Highland Star coming up next.
Highland Star in the building. We'll be right back. Spotlight Over the City, baby.